Good morrow, my lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard. I'm Laura, and this is a concert review. As I said in my intro, this is a concert review. More specifically, I'm going to be discussing two Black Veil Brides shows. The first in Richmond, Virginia, and then the second in Greensboro, North Carolina. So, without further delay, let's get started. Let me start right away with saying you can never be too early leaving the house for a concert. Never, because you never know what's going to happen. Like in our case, when we ran into not one, but two wrecks on our way to the concert. The first one set us back a little bit, but not much. We were still going to make it there by like 4 o'clock. And then just before we got to the exit off into downtown Richmond, another wreck happened. And we were just behind it, and it put us back a whole 30 minutes. So instead of getting there on time like we planned, we ended up getting there about 4:40. And this was us driving from Greensboro to Richmond. It's not supposed to be that far, but with the accidents and the backup and all of that, it became an adventure. So knowing that I'm going to be late, I was messaging both Amber and Ren and trying to figure out what was going on. Amber wasn't arriving until later because she didn't do the VIP this year. But Ren was doing the VIP, and she'd already done it. She was already standing outside. So when that information was given to me, I knew there was no chance that I was actually going to get to do the VIP for Richmond. I arrived, I met up with Ren, and the doors were closed. There was no one outside. So, after a brief hug, I go to the back of the line. This was the meet and greet VIP line, because our ticket did still come with early entry. Someone came out and said if you're not part of the meet and greet, then you shouldn't be in this line. That's when Sarah was like, we had VIP tickets, however, we didn't get to make it in time for the VIP. He was like, that's cool, you're cool, just stand in this line, you'll get the early entry and you'll get your swag. We were like, cool. A few minutes go by, and they start funneling us in. This show was at the National. The National is a gorgeous amphitheater-like venue. It looks like a venue you would watch an opera in. It's got like box seats, and it's just really gorgeous. I actually saw Andy Black at that same venue a couple of years ago with Amber. So I kind of knew the layout of the place already. I knew where to go, and I knew which direction to go to get to the barricade, which was my number one priority. But we're not there yet. We actually had to go through security first. And with security, they check your bag as normal, and they scan you through to see if you've got any metal on you. And then there was a new checkpoint after you got through security where they checked your ID, your vaccination card, and then scanned you in with your ticket. When you were all checked out and they'd verified all three things, you got an over 21 bracelet if you were over 21, or you got an X on your hand to signify that they checked you, but you were under 21. So just to keep in mind, those that do require a vaccination to enter the venue, you'll need both your ID and your vaccination card. Not one or the other. You'll need both, as well as your ticket. So once I got inside, we didn't get the swag because the people that were over that were already upstairs with the merch booth. So we ended up going straight to the barricade. And the first night, I wore this. I was very proud of this outfit, and this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about the vest I made, which is the vest that you see pictured here. But I also have it right here. This is a black and red faux fur Scarlet Cross inspired vest. It's made of black and red shag, and what I did was I appliqued the red shag into the black. So if you pull the black shag up and look closely, you can see my stitching, and I'm actually super proud of how beautiful the top stitching looks, but the shag does mostly hide it, so it looks like it's just embedded into the fur, which is what I wanted. I'm actually intending on making a reverse of this that is a red vest with a black cross, just because I love this so much. And on the front of it, I hand sewed some scarlet spikes in the shape of a cross into like the front chest area, which added a little bit more decoration to the front of the vest to contrast the big design on the back. And then I lined it with a very soft cotton. With the next vest, I may actually add some pockets into it, because that would have been really convenient to have like a cell phone pocket into the vest. But I didn't think about that because I was like, I'll be wearing pants, so it won't be a big deal, but it would have been really awesome to be able to just into the vest. So that's going to be something that happens with the next one. But again, super, super proud of this. Loved it so much. Got so many compliments on it. There's just something about a faux fur vest. We're just going to go blow by blow what happened during the concert. So we're still in Richmond. I just have made it to the barricade, and I make it to the barricade right beside of none other than Ren Rum. We have quite amazing spurts of conversation while we wait for the bands to begin. It's always a pleasure to catch up on what concerts that we've both been to and realize that we've both been to the same concerts but haven't seen each other. Always entertaining and always a good time. I like the shows like what these were. Both nights the shows started fairly quickly. There was no opener for the opener. We just had the opener, which was Dead, and then Black Veil Brides, and then In This Moment. We didn't have like a local band or anything opening up for the opener, which is always a nice thing to see, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of nice to have the 3 bands that were advertised be the 3 bands that were there. So this was my first time actually seeing Dead, and I liked them. Their song Parasite sounded fantastic live, but overall Dead played amazingly. They were just the most fantastic band to open for Black Veil Brides. The only downside to that performance was the strobe lights. I'm not sensitive to strobe lights. Sarah is, but I'm not. And I was a little thrown off by them. They were very bright. They made a clicking sound. They were sudden, and there was a lot of it. And we're going to put a pin in that because we're going to come back to it in just a little bit. After Dead played, it didn't take long for them to set up the stage. They unveiled Cece's drums, and oh my god, they look amazing. They were lower down on the stage. Let me show you. They looked absolutely amazing. I love these DW drums. The color is gorgeous. I love that they put the Scarlet Cross in the middle. I like that he has the bars across where he can like grip onto them and climb up on the drums. Like, it's the perfect drum set for Cece, and I love to see them. Like, that's just a thrilling moment. Everyone cheered when they unveiled the drums. And what made me happy was Cece was actually further down on the stage. He wasn't up on a riser. He wasn't like up behind everything where you couldn't see him or too tall to see him. He was down on the stage with the rest of them, and that made me so happy, because I've said time and time again, you never get to see Cece when he's on stage unless he stands up or comes forward. This time, his drums were close enough that he was visible, and not just at the Richmond show, it was also the Greensboro show. Like, it was intentional, and I hope it was. It may just be because the stage was lower and that made the drums lower, but I want to believe in my soul that we just were given more Cece. So as I go through the next events, I'm going to talk about the set list as well, things that coincided with those songs being performed. So first was Scarlet Cross. Everyone came out with amazing energy, of course, and it was absolutely awesome. Scarlet Cross, like I said in my past video, is one of my favorite songs from the new album. So it was amazing to hear it performed live. And immediately after Scarlet Cross, they played Faithless, which is one of those songs that until the Resurrection tour, I wasn't that big of a fan of it. Like, I listened to it, I loved it, but I wasn't just like, yes. But now that they've started playing it a lot on tour, It's quickly become a song that I gravitate towards. And it is really beautiful to hear live. There's so many good elements to Faithless. It was at this point that I realized that they were switching it up on stage, which was another thing that made me super happy because, again, I always talk about how bands stay in one place and you've got to pick a side and you've got to analyze pictures to see which side which person is on, if you've got a favorite band member or something. Usually they don't change sides. Whichever side they're on, they stay on. Usually because of their equipment. We were able to have Lonny in front of us, and then they'd switch, and Jinx would be in front of us, and then they'd switch, and Jake, and then back to Lonny, and then Andy was all over the stage too, jumping up on the risers, and it was just fantastic. Never really seen a show do that before, and it was everything I could have ever asked for. It was definitely a concert rarity to see the different band members intertwining on the stage like that. They just work so cohesively together. The next song they performed was Rebel Love Song, one of my absolute favorite songs of the Black Veil Brides track history.
We are Black Veil Brides, and this song is called Rebel Love Song.
Sarah and I sang along because Sarah actually knows every word to that song, which is really saying something because she doesn't know the lyrics to many Black Veil Bride songs, but she knows Rebel Love Song. And after Rebel Love Song, we got Goodbye Agony. To enjoy maybe half of Goodbye Agony before I felt this very painful feeling in my bicep where Sarah was gripping it as tight as she could with her sharp acrylic nails because she was going down. For a very brief moment, she fainted into the people around her. Her eyes rolled back and she was just gone for the world. At first, I thought she was grabbing me to get my attention for something on stage, so I turn and I smile and I see her just... So she comes to and she immediately darts out, tells me to stay. She just looks me straight in the eye and says, "Stay," and leaves. So, against my better judgment, I stay. I stay and I figure we're about halfway done with the set. I was right, though when they put the set list down, it did look like a scroll, and I got a really good picture of that scroll of a set list the next night. After Goodbye Agony, Jinx came out with the overture that led straight into Shadows Die.
Hell yeah! Let's give it for Jinx on the violin. You guys having a good time tonight at the Rock and Roll Show? I want to say thank you to each and every person in this room for spending your hard-earned money and coming to see a show tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And then Shadows Die also incorporates Jinx on violin. So we did get some Jinx violin solo, and it was absolutely amazing. Aside from Scarlet Cross, they did play 2 more songs from their newest album, and it was 2 songs that have come out with music videos. The first was Torch.
Doesn't matter anymore if what we say is true.
Which, by the way, is so amazing live. Like, mind-blowingly amazing live. And then they followed it up with Crimson Skies. I didn't even know I knew every word to Crimson Skies, but I do. I figured this out when I was screaming along with it. That was the only point in the whole show, actually, when I was singing so elaborately that my mask was shifting. The rest of the time, I was able to keep it on just fine, but during Crimson Skies, I was just getting really into it, and it kept slipping down my nose a little bit. So we kind of mellowed out with Crimson Skies. And then Andy hyped us up for a CC solo.
Let me hear you say C, 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 C.
Which just, it made my heart flutter. Knowing that CC, the talent that he is, got to perform like that, just by himself on stage for a good few minutes. So if you're going to a show on tour and Andy says, repeat after me, CC, and does it over and over again, don't give up. Give CC his hype because he deserves it. The solo is fantastic. I am an absolute sucker for drum solos. And this was just, it made me tear up. It was so good. You could feel it deep into your soul. And that's the way any drums should be. His solo actually blended into the song Legacy, which is a little more mellow of a song. Like it starts off a more mellow song and then pumps you back up. So you're just getting over how exhilarating that drum solo was, fades into a song that's fairly familiar, and then it pumps you up for the next tracks. It was really refreshing hearing Andy's new screams. You can really tell that he's honed those and made them his own instead of trying to destroy himself while doing them. And they sound really nice. I like the really guttural growls that he's doing now instead of trying to actually scream, if that makes sense. Like, if you've heard it, you know the difference. There's a distinct difference between the way he used to scream and the way he screams now. And it's just so refreshing to see him having fun on stage with Lonny. Multiple times, different members of the band would walk over to Lonny and smile at him or like nudge him, and it was just like the best thing ever. This, by the way, was my first time seeing Lonny perform as a member of Black Veil Brides in person, and it did not disappoint. And he was wearing the fishnet glove, which was so awesome. I was really excited to see what glove Lonny would wear, and it was a fishnet glove. So the little in-between song speech that Andy's giving this go-round is about being an old school fan and the way that us old school fans are sometimes made fun of for wearing our Black Veil shirts to work or to school. And of course that speech leads into the next song that they would perform.
For those of you who've been with us for a long time, thank you. For those of you who are new to us, thank you. And for those of you who have never heard us before, thank you for letting us play our songs for you tonight. For those of you who've been with us for a while, we know that wearing your Black Veil Bride shirt to work or school comes with a certain level of bullshit from other people who might not understand it. We know this. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you for not giving a fuck what any of those people think and giving us opinion. And no matter where you go when you got a Black Veil Bride shirt on, we are standing right behind you, flipping off the motherfuckers giving you shit, alright? This song goes out to everybody who doesn't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about them. It's called Sweet Blasphemy.
I love to hear this live. It's so melodic, it's so pretty, and it's one of those songs that just resonates with you because of the subject matter. At the end of this song, Andy did quiet thank yous to the crowd, expressed his gratitude quietly, and even did heart hands. And it's little moments like that and that big smile that he gets that really like lends towards they really enjoy what they're doing up there. And for the band to be enjoying it, the audience can also enjoy it. And it lends to the audience feeling like they're a part of something by being able to experience this fun interaction. They took it all the way back to the beginning with Knives and Pins next, which sounds so good.
We're going to bring things back to the very beginning of this band. This one's called Knives and Pins.
And then a song that has a special place in my heart, Perfect Weapon, which again sounded amazing live. I can't express how perfect these songs sounded. And then the final song before the encore was Fallen Angels, and I almost threw my shoulder out, fist bumping so hard. This is one song that I just really get into when they perform it live. And of course they didn't disappoint.
You've been amazing to us. Give it up for yourselves right now. If you know Black Veil Brides, you know this last song. It's called Fallen Angels.
And then, of course, the encore song was In the End. because it wouldn't be a Black Veil Bride show without them ending with "In the End." And I recorded a little bit of it and sent it to my best friend Jason because it is still our song. And I sent it to him the next night too, and he laughed at me for being there 2 nights in a row. The cheers for the encore were a little strange. I'm used to people just doing Black Veil Brides over and over again. But this crowd was chanting one more song, and I'm like, it felt weird to me. It felt weird to me to hear one more song instead of Black Veil Brides, but that's just what the crowd took off with, so that's what happened. I want to talk really briefly about what Andy wore, because it wouldn't be a Lara video without me picking out a little bit of fashion elements to go with the concert review. So he was wearing the tight ripped jeans with suspenders and a leather jacket. Those 2 things didn't change from one night to the other. The jeans were different, but they were still jeans. Black jeans, of course. Tuesday night in Richmond, he was wearing a red garter and a red silk handkerchief in his back pocket. He had electric tape wrapped around his middle finger and across his hand, and then wrapped around his wrists. Concerned me a little bit because electric tape does constrict when it gets hot, but maybe it wasn't like electric tape. Maybe it was just tape that looks like electric tape. I have had way too many guys dress like the Crow and do that, and then the circulation get caught off on their hands and their hands turn purple, and it's traumatizing. I'm hoping it's not actually electric tape. I hope it's just like black tape that's shiny that kind of looks like electric tape. But nonetheless, it looked really cool. And I really do love the suspenders he wears with his trousers. Because Sarah had gotten really faint, I dipped out before in this moment. I didn't say anything to Ren Rum. I apologized later, but I just dipped to see if she was okay. I looked at my messages. She was upstairs, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. Everyone in the venue knew what was going on with her. What apparently had happened was the strobe lights triggered a migraine, and the migraine happened so fast that she almost blacked out. So she was sitting upstairs with her hand over her eyes, just trying to come to terms with her head hurting. She'd taken something for her head, so I tell her, just sit there. I'm going to get in line for the merch booth and see if I can get our VIP stuff. I wait in line for about a minute or 2, and she's like, I can't take it. I gotta go back to the hotel. I'm gonna go ask him. So she jumps in front of the line and just leans up and explains the situation and asks the guy, and the guy's like, I don't have it up here, it's actually on the bus. And she was like, well, we're coming tomorrow, can we get it tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, I'll remember you. So with that, we left for the night and we went back to the hotel, which, by the way, the Berkeley, don't recommend. It says it's a 4, almost 5-star hotel, but it is not. It's more like a 2-star hotel. We got there at like 8 o'clock. So they were trying to close up the lobby when we first got there. The attendant did flatter me by asking me if I was in a band, which honestly, I was carrying a coffin-shaped suitcase the size of a guitar, so I can see how she would get that, but it was flattering nonetheless. And then we get up to the room, and it is just not what I expected. The pictures of the room, totally different than the room that we got. The wallpaper was peeling. There were stains everywhere. They'd patched up so many different parts of the ceiling and the walls, and we had a lovely view of an alleyway. And then as we were leaving the next day, we realized that the elevator was literally duct taped together. So, definitely not the 4-star hotel that it advertised. But nonetheless, we stayed there, and we were out of there bright and early the next morning because we were determined we were not going to miss VIP for Greensboro. We stop at Denny's for about 15 minutes, we get gas, and we book it. The line for VIP seemed a lot longer than the line the previous night that we got in for early entry that was the VIP people. The VIP for Greensboro seemed double that. We were almost the last ones in line. There was like 2 other people behind us. And the longest line at 3:30 when we got there was actually the VIP line, not the general admission line, which was shocking. At the front of the VIP line, I saw Pat, and I went to messaging and was like, I see you, and I pointed at him, and he pointed back, and I kept sneaking pictures of him.
He's paying no attention to me at all. Pat!
I actually got a brief video of him actually meeting the band.
I technically have the Princess Diana haircut.
because I was sneaky. We did actually get to do the VIP this time though, and it was so fun. But let me show you the swag that you actually get for the VIP. We actually got 2 of each for each of us because we missed it the night before. So the first thing you get is a mask. It's just a single ply, very nice quality face mask. I enjoy a themed mask. I basically have a mask to match every outfit I own. So this is just another fun addition that I can wear to work with my Black Veil Brides shirts. But I got 2 of these, one for Richmond and one for Greensboro. And they gave us these to make sure that the people that were at the VIP wore them. Because the last thing we want is for one of them to get sick again. And then the VIP also comes with a signed poster. The poster is this absolutely gorgeous The Phantom Tomorrow poster. It has the blood splatter pictures that we all are familiar with. It's like Sin City black and white style with the blood being red. And then Andy has the bat in the middle. I think it's super cool. And they've all signed the bottom. It's always a thrill to see their individual signatures. They're so unique. Lonnie's gotta get a better pen though, because every single poster that I saw, you could barely read Lonnie's writing. But overall, I think it's a really awesome poster. I can't wait to frame it. The basic way that the meet and greet goes: you wear your mask, you step up to a square, like a designated square on the floor. You speak with the band for a brief moment, and then you turn around. They step up towards you, take the picture, and step back. You don't remove your mask at all. So when Sarah steps up, she steps up to the little square, tells them that she not only missed VIP in Richmond, but she also fainted, and she hopes that she can stay through the whole set this time. And Andy's response is, well, I hope so, there's like 17 songs. And then she got her picture with the band. I actually really love her photo. I think it's adorable, and I have noticed that if you want them to do a certain pose, they'll do it, which is really fun. But Sarah's default pose is always... So once I made her go first, it was my turn, and I stepped up, and I kind of threw them off by saying, "Good morrow!" And then I got stares from absolutely all of them. So then I completed my sentence with, "You guys were awesome last night," and that prompted them to be like, "Oh, thank you," blah, blah, blah. And like the babbler that I am, I also said that I hope that that night's energy is the same as the night before. And then there's a bit of a pause because they don't know how to respond to that. I wouldn't know how to respond to that, so of course they didn't know how to respond to that. And then at the exact same time, Andy and I say the exact same words, which are you ready for the picture?" So obviously I was by saying that, and I turn around on my heel and get my picture. I hesitate a little. I didn't hear the camera or see any indication that the picture was taken. There was no countdown or anything, so I was just like... But I think my picture turned out really cute. Super cute. Really showcases the vest, but I wish that I would have worn the outfit that I wore in Richmond for VIP. I was a little bitter. I was a little salty because I wore the better outfit to Richmond with the red to complement the black vest, and then I didn't get to do VIP. So then I wore the black shirt with the black vest, and it just didn't complement it as well. It wasn't a good contrast. It wasn't as good of a contrast as the red shirt with the black vest. But I'm just happy I got a picture. When I was taking my picture, I was absolutely flattered. Just as I was stepping away from the picture, they noticed the back of my vest. I hear Andy say, "Whoa, what a cool jacket." Then, as Andy says, "What a cool jacket," the whole band starts to coo at it. I hear Lonnie go, "Look at it." I could hear each of them murmuring different things. I said, "Thanks, I made it," which, if you know me, if you've seen any videos of me where I've made things for concerts, you know that's my favorite thing to say, is "Thanks, I made it." But not only did I say "Thanks, I made it," not only did Sarah say she made it, but other people in line were like, "She made it," which just was thrilling, absolutely thrilling, that not only was I proud of the vest, but strangers that I had never even met were proud of the vest for me. It made me happy. Anytime that I wear faux fur, Cece seems to like it. And anytime that I can get that kind of reaction from the band when I make something, it just makes my heart flutter. It makes me feel accomplished. So I'm definitely definitely proud of this vest. So after the VIP, they funneled us back outside to wait in line. And a lot of people, because we were right there basically in the parking lot, took their VIP stuff to the parking lot. This venue, by the way, was Piedmont Hall, which is a new concert venue just outside of our Coliseum complex and just outside of our Greensboro Aquatic Center. So it's just in that same general area as all of the big attractions, but it's a smaller venue. So we actually ended up behind a couple at the barricade. So the couple was on the barricade, and then we were right behind them. And the boy in the couple was very rude about Black Veil Brides. He was obviously there for Dead and possibly in this moment, but not really there for Black Veil Brides. And I was taking a video. This is gonna be so mean, I'm sorry. But I was taking a video of the stage, like what was happening on the stage, and he just appeared into the corner of the video, and I can pop it in. I might pop it in. But he just appeared in the corner, and he was doing the head bop thing, and it reminded me of the white cat that bobs along to the music. I'm terrible, I know, I'm sorry, but that's what it reminded me of. At this show, Dead encouraged the crowd to be rough, which was interesting because they didn't do that in Richmond. Like, not once did they encourage crowd surfing or jumping or anything like that in Richmond. But in Greensboro, they were like, I want to see you jump and all this other stuff. And possibly because it was a larger venue and an actual venue instead of a theater. But it was odd that there was a contrast there. Like, odd that they didn't do it at the theater, but they did it at the venue. When Black Veil Brides came on stage, they once again started with Scarlet Cross. And again, it sounded so good live. This time, with the tight ripped trousers and the suspenders and leather jacket, Andy accompanied that with a black bandana in his back pocket and a white garter. So he changed it up a little bit. There was also a studded belt, and he still had that electric tape, which concerns me, but we talked about that. The set list for the Greensboro show, from what I can tell, was the same as it was for the Richmond show. I have heard that they've been switching it up. I know they played Coffin earlier on. I was really hoping to hear Coffin live, but I'm happy with what we got to hear. When they were playing Rebel Love Song, I noticed something. I noticed something I hadn't noticed the night before, but I noticed it this night. Andy was carrying around his mic stand. I know I'm not crazy in remembering that he shouldn't be able to do that because his mic stand's supposed to weigh enough that he can't pick it up and swing it about. I remember this distinctly being a thing, that Andy knocks his microphone over too much and it needs to be heavy. But this thing was just the most lightweight thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was wobbling as he'd move, and he'd carry it from one end of the stage to the other, and I was just blown away.
Are you guys having a good time tonight?
He was just tossing it around like it weighed nothing. At one point, it weebled and wobbled so much that it fell off the stage, and the stagehand had to dive down into the area between the barricade and the stage to get it. Just after Crimson Skies, Andy was just about to pump us up for the CC solo when someone passed out. The lights went out, and then Andy heard screaming. So he stops everything, lights come on, and he handled it so beautifully. Andy acted like a saint through the whole thing. At the beginning of it all, I got footage, and I'll post that footage right now.
Do me a favor, repeat after me. Repeat after me, say C, 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 C. Hold on. What's going on? Somebody's down? Okay, we need help here. Everybody make space, please, make space. Please make sure you got enough space.
In a moment where someone could hesitate, he jumped right into it, and honestly, I have to applaud him for that. Like, it's a scary situation, especially when you're the artist and there's no, like, actual protocol to that, but he didn't care. He just jumped right into it, and that was amazing.
Thank you for letting me know. You take care of each other while you're here, okay? Always understand if something's happening. Now, if you guys are feeling it, we're going to get back to a rock show. Is that cool?
Everyone in the audience wanted to help this person and help them get off the floor and get help. We were listening as much as we could for instructions, and we ended up creating a barricade of people between. There was like enough room for the wheelchair to get between the barricade slope and us, and then we created a wall of people so that the people behind us wouldn't push forward and crowd. So we were all standing there with like elbow to elbow, making sure nobody else was coming up on us while they pushed the person through. Later we find out that the person was actually dehydrated. They are okay. And this is where I stop and I pause and I say, please eat and drink before concerts, and if you can during concerts. They didn't take away our water bottles when we went through security. I know some venues do, but they didn't with this one. It's always worth the risk to try to take water in, and if you don't, stop by the bar and get you a water, because most venues are going to have somewhere where you can get water and hydrate. I know you want to be at the barricade. I know you want to be up front at the show, but you have to keep water in your system or you're going to shut down. I usually try to eat a meal before I go to a show, simply because you are going to be there for a few hours, and that food's going to metabolize and give you energy, and then you're also going to need a lot of hydration because you're going to be standing, and your body may not be used to that, and it's definitely not used to being packed in with a bunch of people and screaming and all the exertion that you're doing that your body doesn't normally do. You have to hydrate. You have to have something on your stomach, but not a lot because you don't want to puke from the heat. But there's a line there, and you definitely need to teeter on that line. The last Ice Nine Kills show, Sarah brought an entire backpack full of burgers and was handing them out to people. We are definitely concert moms, and we want to make sure that all the baby bats are safe and hydrated and able to enjoy the show, because that's what we're there for. We're not there to push our own body's boundaries. We're there to enjoy the entertainment that we've paid for. It's essential. It's essential to your survival through a concert experience. But anyway, PSA over. Let's get back to what happened at the show. So the fam was alert when they were wheeled out, and as they were wheeled past us, the EMTs motioned for us to come back to the barricade. The group had shifted enough that I actually got beside the couple this time instead of behind them. So once all of that had been resolved, we did transition back into the rock show and the CC solo that had been temporarily postponed. I think because there was a small bit of rest time, the CC solo the second night was actually better than the first night. It was amazing. During Knives and Pins, I did exchange a look with Lonny, just sort of like a recognition look, which any moment, even a brief one like that, means the world. It was awesome and memorable, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch Lonny perform as a member of Black Veil Brides. I cannot wait to see more shows. I actually am entertaining the idea of going to the Ice Nine Kills, Black Veil Brides, Motionless in White show that's going to be in Florida. I'm entertaining it. I haven't bought the tickets yet, but I'm in talks with Black Bunny Cosplay about going, because wow, what a lineup. That's 3 of my 4 favorite bands. Like, the only thing that would make it better is if Water Parks was in there. Like, it's amazing. I feel like I have to go. It feels like a I have to go kind of thing. My favorite spot to be in the entire world is on the barricade during a Black Veil Brides show. So seeing them 2 nights in a row at the barricade was just so wonderful. For the encore, of course, they played In the End, and there was one single crowd surfer. If you came here for a review of In This Moment, I'm sorry, there won't be one. We didn't stay. We actually intended on staying, but after Black Veil finished, I gave up the barricade because I'm a firm believer in if you're not there for the band and they're not like your favorite band, don't stand at the barricade. And In This Moment, though I like them, not my favorite. Not close to my favorite. So I gave up my spot at the barricade for someone who would enjoy being on the barricade for In This Moment. And while it would be a beautiful show up close because it's so theatrical, I know there are other people that would enjoy it more. And when I stepped back, I realized that Sarah wasn't around me again. She'd actually dipped out before the encore and had found a food. At this venue, they had a catering section. Barbecue wings and chicken tenders and hot dogs available. And what you did was you would stand in line. You'd get a voucher for a $7 meal. And then you take that voucher back to the catering stand and get what you wanted. So when I found Sarah going outside, she handed me the voucher where she'd already stood in line for me. And then I just walked up, handed them my voucher, and got a plate of chicken tenders. And we sat down outside in the nice, brisk, fresh air and got to enjoy some chicken tenders and fries. And there were a few people standing around us. One girl recognized me. She was like, "You made the Ghost of Ohio dress." And I was like, "Yes, I did." Just talking about my green and black bat print Ghost of Ohio dress that I made. And then another person asked what the furry thing was in my bag, which of course was my vest. So I got to show off my vest and get more oohs and ahs, which was awesome. Can you tell I'm proud of that vest? Because I'm really proud of that vest. So once we finished eating, we actually walked back out to go to the Black Veil Brides merch table. And let me show you what I got. I actually wore this first shirt to work the day that I came back. So Thursday I wore this shirt. So this is a Phantom Tomorrow shirt that says "We sing to the blessed and the cursed." And it says Black Veil Brides with the Phantom on the front. And then the back says the Phantom Tomorrow US Tour 2001 with all the tour dates. And then down here it says "We sing for the blessed and the cursed" backwards and then frontwards, which is kind of cool. And then this one I haven't worn yet, but I do plan on wearing it to work sometime soon because it's my first ever long sleeve Black Veil Brides shirt. I've always wanted a long sleeve Black Veil Bride shirt, but the only ones I've ever seen were the white ones, or they were sweatshirt material. So this is t-shirt material, and it's black. Says Black Veil Brides on the front. Kind of has that same comic book color coding with the red and the bat. Says Black Veil Brides really big. And then at the bottom it says the Phantom Tomorrow. Then on the back it has a scarlet cross, and it says "The world will stain us" with a scarlet cross. And then the sleeve has the tour dates. So I went to this one and this one. This one and this one. And then there's nothing on the other sleeve. So you can say there's nothing up your sleeve. But while I was buying my merch, In This Moment did finally start. It took a while because they had to set up the entire theatrical performance, meaning the whole stage had to be redressed. But we did watch the opening song. So in conclusion, the Richmond show, the first time I've ever seen Lonny perform with Black Veil Brides, was by far the best Black Veil Brides concert I've been to so far. Hand to God, the best. The absolute best. And then Greensboro was a close second. Just the overall energy of the Richmond show was wonderful. It was this cohesiveness that I've never felt at a Black Veil show before. But at this one, something was different. And that something made it the best show I've ever seen by them. There was just so much good, positive energy in the room. And I absolutely loved it. The Greensboro show, the audience was a little bit more hostile. There was tension in the Greensboro audience. But the Richmond audience, I just didn't feel that. It felt very serene, but both shows were fantastic. Dead is amazing. I can't wait to listen to more of their songs and hear the studio versions of them, because this was the first time I'd ever heard them was live. Black Veil did not disappoint in any way. Still my favorite band, which there was no doubt in that. And I don't know, it was great. It was definitely worth the drive. Still sad I didn't get to do the first VIP, but it's okay because the second VIP really made up for it. The way that they made over my vest and all of that. It was just a really nice, fulfilling 2 evenings. So for the comments down below, tell me how many times you've seen Black Veil Brides live. Or tell me if you've ever seen them live. And tell me if you've ever seen them live, what's your favorite song to hear performed live. But if you don't talk to me about that, just talk to me about something, because I love for you to talk to me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye! Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye!